Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Thursday Thought. I wanted to share with you information and details of WIRTH Hats, a Canadian hat company that provide counselling sessions to someone in need with every hat that they sell. I connected with the founders 2 years ago during my master's course and felt very connected in terms of the details that they put on and the importance they put on mental health, as well as the need to speak openly about this subject. I'm going to share with you a conversation that I had with Ben, one of the founders, in which he talks about the Wirth story, as well as tips about being kind to yourself. Just going to present my screen now. Ben, thank you so much for joining today. Really glad to be able to speak to you. Just want to give a bit of a context in terms of the WIRTH Hats story.
Yeah, definitely. So WIRTH Hats, it started in 2014, and it started over a sad, unfortunate thing where my good friend Jakob Wirth took his life, and Jacob's dream was to create a hat company. So he was in the early stage of creating a hat company when he took his life. And when anything like that happens in our lives, we're confused, sad, hurt, and there's so many questions that go through our mind. But the one question that didn't leave me, or the one thing that didn't leave me, was to help Jake create his hat company. So in 2014, I did 25 WIRTH hats to give to his closest friends and family. And each hat came with a message and tag that we're never as alone as we sometimes think we are, and that we all need to be looking out for not only ourselves, but each other, and taking proactive steps with our mental health. And that was, WIRTH Hats was just meant to be a one-off. It was 25 hats for Jacob's closest friends and family. And then we put WIRTH Hats back in the world again in 2018. And that was after another sad death of another really good friend of mine who took his life. And it was really the catalyst for starting work to bring WIRTH Hats back in the world. Was I received a message from a friend just asking me if I had any more WIRTH Hats left. And if I had any more, he'd love to have one, as it serves as a good reminder. And if I didn't have one, or if I didn't have any and I ever decide to make them again, he'd be first on the list to get one. And it was that email that just went through my mind for months. And with the much bigger issue in our world, and systemic issue around mental health, and our inability to speak up, and the stigma that surrounds it, and I, with all that in mind, and the two friends that I've lost, I put WIRTH Hats back in the world again in June of 2018, and with the goal to really reduce the stigma around counseling and therapy, and help support those who would otherwise be unable to move forward. So neither Jakob nor Philip went and saw a counselor. Neither of them sought help. And so our goal with WIRTH Hats is really to take proactive steps with our mental health and to seek help when we need it.
Amazing. And we connected a couple of years ago, and with the product now as well. It's an amazing company, not just amazing hats, and truly aligned to everything that you're doing, and the way in which you're going about it. What's your for WIRTH? What's your mission? What's your vision and that you have?
Yeah. So as mentioned, our mission really is, when we specifically reducing the stigma around counseling and therapy, and helping pay and support for those who are unable to afford. And so, since the start of WIRTH Hats, we've sponsored 4,000 plus counseling sessions for people to get support they need. And we really, too, though, with, again, our vision is like, we need to all take proactive steps. It's when the barn is burning, it's so tough to start to try and do self-care and go see someone for support. It's how do we treat our minds and our bodies in the best way, so we're prepared. Like we never know when we're going to fall down in life. We never know what might happen. And so we need to be resilient and prepared. and for when we do, or if we do, and to have the outlets already available that we can speak with.
Amazing. Really, like I've said already, we're connecting so much with a company like yourselves and what you're doing. Actually, with regards that mental health side and from the side of the pastoral things at the school, our theme this week is on self-care and being kind to yourself. Would you have any tips yourself in terms of that aspect?
Yeah, this one is a little bit bigger and long term, but I always suggest, if you've never seen, one of the big goals for Wirth is, and I truly believe from a young age, we all need and should be seeing a counselor, or whatever you want to call it, have the space where we can talk about what's going on for us and being more familiar with our inner world. And so I really think it needs to develop and start from a younger age, and we make our lives a lot harder than they need to be. And it's largely because we don't talk and we don't share. And so, especially even from a young age, going and having conversations about what's going on. And if you've never seen a counselor, see a counselor, because it doesn't matter whether you can be at your best or your worst and everywhere in between. Like, going and talking to someone is always a positive thing. It's always going to benefit you. And so that is one bigger thing I always recommend and want to encourage, that, for us to take proactive steps and go speak to someone, even if everything's going fine. It's like, talk about how everything's going fine and what's great and why you have this passion. And so that's one thing I recommend. And, we hear about lots of other things, and, what self-care can be different for, everyone. We've talked about it, like with, cold water and immersion and all that. And I take, like, every morning I do a cold shower, and I have lots of friends who do it, and it does make an amazing difference. Like, it really, it's hard every morning. It doesn't make it easy, but it makes an amazing difference, I find, to kind of really create energy and excitement for the day. I start hot and I finish cold, and I notice a big difference in starting my day.
Amazing. We at the school here, we're on the River Thames. A few members of staff have been getting into the Thames every now and again, but the cold shower maybe is a safer way to go about things in that respect.
The river may be more fun way, though. The river.
Yeah, I completely agree. Sort of taking those steps to talk to someone, opening up, especially for the students at the school. I think during this time where we're doing a lot of teaching online, a lot of work that they're doing is at home, having that time to try and connect to someone and talk to someone is a really important message to come through. And anything else that you'd wish to share at all with the students?
No, like from a self-care or just anything.
Yeah, any points?
Yeah, not really, other than just the emphasize of, I do believe we make life harder for ourselves because we don't start at a younger age of kind of working and taking proactive steps with our mental health. Like, we get into our 20s and 30s, and all of a sudden life starts to go a bit odd and not the way we maybe thought, and we don't have the tools to handle it, and so we can do ourselves such a favor by kind of starting at an early age and to kind of working to better understand our own mental health and having tools to kind of work with it. So that's the main thing I want to say. It's just, it's only going to benefit you.
Amazing. I will be sharing the link to the WIRTH Hats website, but anywhere else that they can sort of find out more information about WIRTH Hats?
Yeah, the website is a great one. It shares, you can read the whole story there. It is a longer story, and there's a video or you can read it, and you can go to our counseling page, and or you can also just our Instagram at WIRTHhats.com. So whatever suits.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Ben, so much for your time. And we'll be sharing this around the school.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ed. Really appreciate it.
So the video there, I just also wanted to share the website, and I'll be sending out the link to staff and students, so hopefully that will come through. But more information here about their story, as Ben mentioned, a sort of a longer edition of that, as well as information about the products that they do, and a bit more around the counselling support and resources that they have available there. Just to round up, and with all of the assemblies that have gone so far this term especially, and with Mr. Brown and the importance that he's placed on mental health and the support the school is providing, I think it's really important. And I've also thought to Mr. Alcock's Thursday thought about active listening. There's two sides to the communication pathway. The listening side and the active listening that Mr. Alcock put forward is so important, but also taking those steps to speak up, sort of speak openly. And as Ben mentioned, even if you're in a really good place and you want to speak about that, just getting that resources in place to be able to, if things do turn, that you have the resilience available is going to be really important. I hope you all have a really good day, and have a challenge today of speaking openly to someone about your mental health. Thank you.